Welcome to the GCN Tech Clinic, where Alex and I aim to answer your bike, tech and maintenance related questions. As ever, you can submit your questions down below in the comments section using the hashtag askgcntech, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as possible
within the allotted time.
So what's our first question?
First question is from Jari 1973. They say, which is faster on flat? Hard rubber compound or soft rubber compound? I assume they mean flat roads.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it makes any difference whether it's flat, hilly, downhill, uphill, whatever. But I think this question comes from the fact that in motorsport, in particular Formula One, we often hear about tyres being hard compound or soft compound, right?
Yeah.
Like you switch to the harder tyres, the intermediates and the...
Yeah,
right? Now, the first thing you've got to understand is that when they have the compound on those tyres, and I can talk about this because I've been to the Pirelli factory in Milan and seen them making Formula One tyres, is that there's a lot more compound on those tyres.
Yeah.
The compound makes up a much bigger part of how that tyre works, whereas on a bike tyre, it's incredibly thin. And in terms of what actually makes the tyre fast or slow is the compound is one part of it, but a large part of it is the construction of the tyre itself, the actual way in which that tyre can hold its shape, and also what's known as hysteresis losses. So when a tyre deforms, it needs to deform to go over objects. Otherwise, it would be really uncomfortable and it would just vibrate over everything and you go slower, right? So it's important that a tyre can deform. But when a tyre deforms, it then has to reform back into its original shape. Now, the act of it deforming and then reforming, there's energy lost within that, that motion, okay? Now, those losses are known as hysteresis losses, and that's what you want to minimize, okay? So the way in which a tyre is constructed is crucial to minimizing that hysteresis loss, and that's the biggest loss of energy within the system. You can have compounds that are generally harder compounds have lower rolling resistance, but less grip. So it's about balancing that sort of.
Yeah, and like you're saying about that deformation of the tyre, the more energy, the stiffer the sidewall and the stiffer the tyre is, the more energy it's going to absorb. So then it's going to be slower overall.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Because it's this thing of like, it's to do with how efficient that tyre is at deforming and reforming.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's you can have a system whereby you compress a tyre and it reforms, but loads of energy is lost in that process. Whereas you can have one that compresses and then comes back the same amount, but it's just like a more efficient construction that is better at not losing energy.
Makes perfect sense.
That's what makes a faster tyre in most instances.
Okay.
So the most important thing to be aware of with different tyre compounds is more to do with actually temperature and how temperature affects grip. So as you lower the temperature, rubber compounds tend to get harder, and that will make, you have less grip in colder conditions. And so that's why sort of four-season tyres and things like that exist, because they have a compound that's tailored to remain more supple at lower temperature. So the hardness or softness of a compound is more to do with grip.
Perfect. All right.
And cornering.
Heard it here first. Ellen Dredd next, they say, I bought some light and compact TPU tubes to carry on my commuter bike in case of a puncture, but I didn't take into account that my current tubes have schrader valves, whereas the TPU tubes are presta. My mini pump has got fittings for both. Can I just put the presta tubes in where the schrader valve hole is? Yes, you can. It's going to go in. Yes, the hole on the rim is slightly bigger. It's not ideal, but it will get you out of a sticky situation of having a puncture.
Nice.
Job's good.
McLovin, 38FFS.
The real McLovin.
Could well be. Dear Rupert and Sir Ollie and the GCN team, I have two bikes, one with Ultegra mechanical, the other with 105. DI2. My question is that are all quick links made equal? Do I have to buy two different types or sizes for the different group sets? Thanks in advance. Right, so basically, further clarification revealed that this chap's McLovin's group sets, his Ultegra is 11-speed and his 105 is 12-speed, in which case, no, you need an 11-speed quick link and a 12-speed quick link.
Slightly different widths is the answer.
Yeah.
So if you want to be super nerdy, there's also a very slight different shape to the chamfer on the edge.
Yeah, there is. And you can also get specific quick links for like SRAM's flat top chains, for example, which would be better to use. If you were in a pinch and you really needed to, you've suffered a mechanical at the side of the road, you'd probably be able to get away with using, I don't know, maybe like a KMC non-flat top chain quick link or something in a SRAM chain or vice versa. But generally speaking.
Something that always comes up about quick link questions is that most of the mainline brands are designed to be single use. Yes, you can often use them more times than once, but that's what they're intended to be used for. Okay, next question over to you. Is
K Hazar 930, who says, "Hi everyone, I started noticing some mold building up inside the nozzle of my water bottle. It's inside the nozzle and there's no way for me to get to it with a brush to clean it. Is there a way to clean it? It's a nice bottle and I'd hate to have to throw it away."
Well, no, you just said there's no way of cleaning it.
I'm pretty confident if you soaked your bottle in some vinegar, that would probably do a good job of getting rid of that.
Those baby bottle sterilising tablets.
Acid.
Yeah, all that.
Baby bottle sterilising tablets. Go to town on it.
Yeah. You sometimes you can pull the end of the nozzle off, but they're quite difficult to get back in.
Yeah. Or get a Camelback bottle.
Where's they've quite literally stolen them all.
We're currently transitioning to a new set. We're moving house. A load of stuff's gone.
But you made a cool video about how to clean them.
So Camelback bottles, right, are blooming great because you can literally disassemble the entire nozzle for cleaning, which is a really important thing for hygiene that people underestimate. And that's one of the things why we think they're great. That's the other thing.
James Walker next, 1759. I have recently purchased a set of Hunt 4-season wheels with rim brakes. Fitted, these were latex tubes. After flicking through the manufacturer's documentation, there's a warning that says do not fit latex tubes. When I asked the manufacturer why, they said it was due to the potential heat build-up in the brake track, which could cause the tubes to burst. Have we ever heard of this? And are latex tubes more susceptible than other materials? Yes and yes.
Yeah. So normally, when everyone was using rim brakes, latex tubes championed by time trialists, but there's not much braking in time trials. Where it was a thing, like if you're going to be riding in the mountains and doing lots of braking, a rim brake clincher, you should generally avoid using that. And also the same goes for TPU and for the lighter sort of like Continental supersonic, really thin butyl tubes they used to make. Same sort of deal with that as well.
I think if you're not
one of the advantages of disc brakes.
Yeah, I think if you're not going somewhere mountainous, I think you should be okay. I've done that in the past, but it's always safest to follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
Next question over to you.
Donny Jorbeck to Gunov.
Perfect. That was exactly right.
Nailed it. Says, my father owns a bee yard. Not kind of sure what a bee yard is, but I can guess, but I'm pretty sure it just owns some beehives. Owns an area in which beehives are contained. Can I use beeswax, or bee wax, as he's calling it, for waxing a chain? I've never tried it before, but wanted to try during a waxing hype era. Okay.
I'm going to suggest it's perhaps not the best use of beeswax.
No. Do you know what is the best use of beeswax?
Go on.
Making cannelés.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, look,
the finest patisserie to have come out of Bordeaux.
Jokes aside, you probably could use it if you really wanted to, but it's not going to be effective. It's not going to be as good as the paraffin-based wax that are designed for it.
No.
So I'd probably save it for something more useful.
Yeah. Line your cannelé molds, your copper cannelé molds with beeswax. Thank me later.
Right, on to our last question from this week's Tech Clinic. It's been a long boy. It's Cali450. Hi guys, mystery here. My 2 tyres, which are Schrader Pro 1s in 30mm with TPU tubes, keep on deflating in a seemingly random pattern. I never know which one will be flat from one day to another, and sometimes they both keep their air pressure for days. I don't understand what could be the cause of this. Is it the valves? Maybe the tyres have got some sort of attitude. Can I grab your attention and help? Thanks.
I've got a few suggestions. Okay?
Come on. Yeah.
1, poltergeist.
Yeah.
2, borrowers.
Yeah.
3, passive-aggressive girlfriend.
So they're the most obvious problems here. But is there anything sort of away from the obvious things that could be causing this?
I think they're the most likely explanations.
Yeah.
Just pick one.
I mean,
most applicable.
In the incredibly unlikely case that those aren't the cause of your problem, perhaps you could look at the valves.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And what I would suggest doing, pump the tyre up, get a bucket of soapy water, dunk sections of the wheel and tyre inflated into the soapy water, and then you'll see where the air's escaping. If it's a periodical problem that is changing, is going to be how you're doing the valves up, because that's the only thing that changes over time.
Could be valve cores, loose valve cores.
So check your tightening the valve cores up correctly. You can also replace them on some inner tubes. They're like £10, you get a big bag of valve cores. Otherwise, you're back to Ollie's suggestions. Right, that's it for this week's GCN Tech Clinic. Hope that has been helpful with some of our interesting answers. Please do get involved in the comments section down below. Help everybody out, create this amazing GCN Tech community. And if you've got questions, get them in the comments and we'll pick them out in the coming weeks.
Love you, bye.
Bye. Poltergeist.